Hello everyone, welcome to Coding Techniques. In today's video, we are going to discuss about Express.js, which is actually a web framework for our Node.js applications, which we have already used into our Node.js course. With Fastify growing very fast, we need to understand the difference and which one to use when. We are going to see in this particular video. Along with that, there is a new upgradation version of Express.js, which is Express.js version 5 that is launched recently. We are going to talk about that. What are the breaking changes inside that and whether it impacts our current application or not. We are going to see all of it in this particular video. So let's get started. So before starting with the difference, we need to understand what is Express.js. So I'll give you a brief description about Express.js. That is, it is a minimalistic, flexible web framework for Node.js application. Mostly it's used there. And it is widely used by developers because it is easy to use with the APIs, and also for beginner, it's a very friendly framework which you can use. On the other hand, Fastify is a high-performance web framework, again for Node.js, but it is designed to work as fast as possible. That is the benefit of using Fastify. And it achieves that by handling the JSON in an optimized manner. Also, it follows the schema-based approach that makes it highly efficient for data validation. So this is just a brief description about the two. Let's check out the difference between those. Now, first difference will be the core focus. Based on the core focus, Express.js is minimalistic, flexible web framework which we have already learned about. On the other hand, Fastify gives us high performance and low overhead framework. Now, the second difference is based on the performance, which is must to understand, because Express.js gives around approximately 27,000 requests per second, but on the other hand, Fastify works for 76,000 requests per second, which means up to 3 times faster than the Express.js. But that doesn't mean that we should not use Express.js. Definitely, till now, everyone is using Express.js. Fastify is being used by a lot of people, but still Express.js is considered to be at the top. And we will also understand why I'm saying that. But first of all, let's see the other differences. Next difference is the community size. So Express.js is having a very large community size because it's been 2010, and now also everyone uses Express.js to a great extent. I have used it personally and it works pretty fine. On the other hand, Fastify is a growing community. People are using that and many people are switching to Fastify for the faster experience, but still Express.js is no lesser than the Fastify one. Now next thing is routing. Based on routing, the Express.js provides simple routing with middleware support. On the other hand, Fastify provides us advanced routing with schema validation. So there is a very big difference is based on the schema validation that Fastify does. We are also going to see some examples out of it. But first of all, let's complete this part. Next is error handling, which is very must. So in Express.js, we handle the errors based on the middleware. But in Fastify, we use the built-in error handling part. Okay, so it provides everything built in. But in Express.js, we need to use the middleware stuff. We need to make some functionality out of it and then provide the support for error handling. All right. Next is request validation. In Express.js, no built-in validation. Yes, definitely we use the external packages like Express Validator or something or the other. But in Fastify, it has inbuilt JSON schema validation. So which is a great thing as it is mostly working with the JSON in the schema part. So the next thing is best use case, which is must for you to understand. So where Express.js can be best used? It can be used in simple web applications, learning Node.js, legacy project. So legacy project basically means the older versions of Node.js. Definitely you can work with that with Express.js properly. And also middleware heavy applications, but it doesn't mean that you cannot use for large application. Definitely you can go for large application also along with Express.js. We have already seen that in our courses. If you haven't enrolled in that, you can just check it out. Links are there in the description. Go and check it right now. On the other hand, Fastify is better for high-performance APIs, microservices, TypeScript project because it provides lots of support for TypeScript. It doesn't mean that in Express.js we cannot do that. The course that I have built with Node.js is with TypeScript, and we are using everything with the help of Express.js. So it provides supports, but you have to install an external library. But with latest version of Express.js, we get more support for TypeScript also. Okay, so yeah, and schema-driven applications also you can definitely use Fastify. So this is the basic difference between the two, which you can easily understand and think about it, which one to use, alright? Now, after learning about the differences between the two, it's time to check the syntax of it. So we are going to check the syntax for Express.js and Fastify. For Express.js, you can see the syntax which is given here, which is quite simple to use. And in Fastify also, it is also very simple. Not much of a tough thing is there. But yes, this is the basic stuff which you need to understand. All right. I'm not going to explain the code here because it's quite simple. If you know about Express.js, definitely you will understand. If you do not know, don't need to worry. If you take my course, definitely you will be able to understand that. Otherwise, I'll cover up in some different videos. All right. This video is just about the differences between the two. I'm not going in depth of Express.js or Fastify. Just the overview I'm giving you so that you can have a clear idea which one to use when. All right. With the Node.js application. So it is mostly for those who already know about Express.js and want to know about Fastify and the differences between the two, along with the latest version that has come up for Express.js. All right. Hope it's clear to you. Now, the next thing that we are going to see is about the error handling. So in Express.js, this is how we handle the error, but in Fastify, it gives us the inbuilt feature to handle the error in this particular way. So almost similar, not much of a difference is there, but see how we can directly use with Fastify, but here we have to use Express.js, right? So this is a just basic example I have given for error handling. Now, after learning about the syntaxes, it's time to see which one is trending currently. For which I'll go to NPM trends, and I have already got the graph here for the past 6 months. Now you can see the blue line is for the Express and the orange one is for the Fastify. So Fastify is quite at the bottom, means there are a lot of downloads being done for Express.js, not for Fastify comparatively. All right. In the past 6 months, and if you go for the past 1 month also, let me just change it to 1 month. There we go. For the last 1 month, you can see still Express.js is leading the stuff. So now everything is fine. It doesn't mean that Fastify is not growing. Definitely it's growing and people are using it. But still, if you are using Express.js, you don't need to worry about it. You can smoothly go ahead with that also. Even I use Express.js till now and it works pretty smoothly. All right, for a bigger application also. Now, after learning about the trends between the two, we are going to move to the Express.js latest version. So in Express.js latest version, what do you see? You see a new era for the Node.js framework. Basically, it's Express.js version 5. Now, what actually we get within this particular version and why this is important? First of all, I would like to tell you that this version is launched almost after 10 years, 10 or 11 years. So the last version, that means version 4 was launched in 2014, probably 2013 to 14. And from that time onwards, very small upgradations has been done, but it was not a major update. All right. And now they have introduced version 5 after so long. That means it is quite stable. All right. First thing first. And now they have launched with few upgradations. All right. Which is important for us to understand if you want to migrate from 4 to 5. But there is a tweak in that. I want to show you the NPM package for the Express. Still, it is showing version 4.21.1. And now if you see here, version 5 is launched, but it is not yet released. It is, if you want to install it, you can install via @next, which means that if you are going for installing directly npm Express, you are going to get this particular version, not the 5th version, means version 5. All right. So hopefully it will be launched soon, but still we need to understand what will be the changes that will be coming up. So for understanding the changes, let's look into the stuff which is being changed. So here, there are a lot of things that is being given. If you want to go through the documentation, definitely you can go ahead with that. But I'll give you a brief description about what are the changes that has been brought up. So let's go and check it out. What are the changes? First is with the async await for error handling. Now in Express.js version 4, we used to handle the errors using the async await functions, but it was wrapped within the try-catch block. And errors were handled manually. But in version 5, we see error handling are done automatically. How they are being done, we will see that with the help of examples. So let's check out the example. This is version 4 example where you can see the try-catch block is being present here. Within the try-catch block, we have written our code. And if there is any error, the next function is getting called, which forwards to the next error handling part. Means the next functionality which is handling the errors. So this is done manually. Now in Express.js 5, this code is reduced. First of all, in Express.js version 5, you will see ECMA script, that means ES module support. So you can directly use the import here. So it gives a good support for TypeScript. You don't need the required functionality here. The next thing is the automatic error handling. You don't see here the try-catch block. If you just look at it carefully, you don't need the try-catch block. You can directly pass the res.send functionality here. And what it will do is, it will automatically detect the error and throw to the next function. Okay, so whatever you were doing here, it was not needed. So if it finds the error, it's going to throw the next, and the error, it will be provided there, and it will go to the next functionality where the error will be caught. That means the next functionality which is being used here, this one, it will go directly here, okay, in this case. So this is how it works. This is a basic thing that is being introduced. So if you're using try-catch block still, it's fine, but there is an option that you can simply remove it also. Without it also, it will work. Now the next thing is based on the routing optional parameter. What is that actually? So in Express.js, this is just a brief example that I'm giving you, where you can see username, username, then a question mark is being given, right? Now, just look at this code, and the Express.js version 5, you have to pass within the braces and no question mark needs to be passed. So this is how you can get the param data, all right? And the rest of the code is the same. So just the syntax is changed. Why it is changed? Now let me give you a reason for doing that. Express.js 5 replaces the question mark symbol with braces. Why? To make optional parameter more explicit. That is why it's doing that. Now let's check out the validation middleware. What is the changes out there? So we will see with the help of example. This is the regular expression that is being used here. Now this is removed. No regular expressions in Express.js version 5. We can do in this particular way. We can use the Express validator or any other custom validator. You can use it up and provide it up. We have already used this kind of a validator, the Express validator we have used into our course. So we don't need to worry about anything else. All right. So this is being done. And this kind of a routing you don't have to provide for the middleware part. So after doing that, we are going to learn about the wildcard parameter. Now what is wildcard parameter? Basically this kind of a syntax where you get an asterisk symbol you are passing into your routing is a wildcard parameter. Now this route matches anything, whatever is coming up, it's going to take that. But in the version 5, it is changed a little bit. You have to pass, along with the asterisk symbol, you also have to pass the path. Okay, the name, you have to pass it. So it's going to check with that particular path whether it's matching or not. All right. So basically Express.js 5 requires that wildcard routes be given a name using this particular syntax, which I have already shown you in the green color that is available. So this is what you need to pass and work with it. What is next thing then? Okay, body parser changes. There are some changes related to body parser also in Express.js version 5. What are those? Which is quite interesting actually. The first one is customize URL encoded body depth. What does that mean? Let's understand with the help of example. So this is an example which I have prepared for you where you can set custom depth for URL encoded body. How you can do that? You can use the body parser.url encoded and you can pass some limit and depth to it. All right, in this particular way, which is given in green color. Now the next thing, what you can do is you can remove the deprecated body parser function, which is not at all needed from now on. Means from version 5 onwards. And what does that mean? Basically, you are going to remove body parser.json function and body parser.url encoded function. You don't need those functions. Instead of that, you can directly use the express.json function, express.url encoded function if you want to work with it. Then what is next? Next is request.body not always initialized. So what does that mean? Basically, it's going to have the value as its empty object. All right, just like the way it is shown here. So if you are working with it, definitely you need to put on a check here that whether there is something within the body or not. If there is nothing, then you can go ahead and work with that. Or if you want to check it out, whether the body has anything or not. So simply here it is checked with a condition that if there is nothing in the body, then simply you are returning a status of 400. That is a bad request and no body data received. So you can give anything you want, but this is just a syntax which you need to follow. Otherwise, if you get some empty object, definitely you will end in some kind of a trouble. All right, so definitely check this out. This is very, very important. And what's next? Next is the URL encoded parser defaults extends to false. What does that mean? Basically, I'm going to show you with an example that express.url encoded, which we have seen already in the previous example also, it is extended is set to false by default. Even if you don't pass it also, it will be set to false by default. Okay, and what does that mean? I have already explained it in the course. I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not going in depth of it. I'm just explaining you what is the difference between all this. What are the changes that has been brought up? What is next then? Support for broadly compression. Now, broadly compression is very, very important because it is used for better optimization, better performance, and it compresses your content basically in HTML, CSS, JS, whatever you have. It's going to compress that, and it's very useful. I'll give you a simple example of it. This is how you can use it up. Okay, if you do not know about it, simply just search it on the internet and you will find it out, more content about it. So this is a brief description which I have prepared for you guys. So I hope you have understood what are the latest changes which has been brought up by the Express.js version 5. Now, one more last thing, which is the deprecation methods which are being introduced. So they have removed the magic strings. Basically, what happened is earlier we used to use a response.redirect function. Now you can simply use request.get function and pass the referrer, or you can pass the slash symbol directly. So it means you have to pass the route basically, or the path, instead of directly going back. And what is next? Method signature changes. All right, so this is very, very important. If you're using res.send and within that you are passing the status and the body together, then you have to change it now to res.status separately and send separately. Mostly we work in the same manner only, but if you're doing that, definitely you have to change it. And lastly, okay, plural forms for request.accepts char sets. Earlier, I think it was accepts char set. So S was not there at the end. So they have introduced plural forms for each and every one, so that you can accept more than one possibly. So these are the basic deprecation things which you need to take care of. Apart from it, there are few more things which you can go ahead and check it out the documentation to understand it much better. But this is the basic stuff which I thought to share with you guys, so that you can have a clear-cut idea what is going on currently with Express.js and how Fastify is going ahead or not. You have got a clear idea now, I hope. So let me know in the comment section how you like this particular video, and a lot more videos are coming up for you guys. So stay tuned to the channel and do hit the like button.